Alexa, pause. Hi, good morning. Good morning. It's 9 a.m., 9:02 on Monday, October 27th, 2025. I got to fix some things, I think. That works for me anyway. Monday. My name's Al Cameron, and I started doing this in September. And I remember when I started, I had suffered what's called a tower moment in Tarot, right? So something big happened. And because I've lived the life that I've lived, which I kind of want to mention and talk a little bit about, I know what to do, right? I know what to do when a tower moment like that happens. And the first thing I do is get into some sort of a routine, right? A reason to get up every morning and do the things that we need to do, whether we're a prisoner in captivity or just do the 9 to 5 Monday through Friday routine, right? That's what keeps us going. The routine keeps us going through difficult times. We all have our routines. We all have specific things that we do. When we face a tower moment, that can throw our routines off. That can then lead to I don't like straws. I know they're good. I know a straw would be good, but I don't like straws. I use straws occasionally. My routine after I experienced this tower moment was this, to tell myself through the month of October, this was my goal setting, step by step, what am I going to do for the next 6 weeks? So my original intention was the October, right? Just let me do this for the month of October. I'm going to get up on Mondays, do Monday morning news. Tuesdays, I'm going to talk about social and restorative justice for workers. Wednesday's going to be Wackadoodle Wednesdays. Thursdays, I do my own thing. And Fridays, Compassionate Friday. And that has evolved, right? It's just evolved over these 6 weeks, as has some of my video making, as well as my shorts. So, my short videos. So my pursuing being a mass media creatrix has been consistent through the month of October. And now I see, I've got 4 days left in October. And this morning, really thinking about, because there's new things happening on YouTube, right? Thinking about, is this really the best way for me to move forward? And also understanding the fluidity of it all. I've been trying to be very fluid with my YouTube channel and the way it's been being developed, and what I'm how it's going and what I'm doing. And because of that, excuse me, because of that, it's evolved. And now I have other things I can work on YouTube as well. However, I am still actively looking for full-time work, right? So at any moment, I get a full-time job, and this is not going to be if I'm working Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, that would be a reason why I would not continue to do this. That might be the only reason why I can think of at this moment. But I can tell you that I was looking at this pen. It says Gaylord Hotels. Gaylord Hotels. So shout out to Gaylord Hotels. That would be the only reason that I would probably stop doing this. Oh, the negative comments. Why do people want to be just mean? Let me just see if I can be mean. I just got an alert. I have a wellness visit, my annual wellness visit at my doctor. One of the things, though, one of the comments is that sometimes some of my shorts or some of my videos can be a little cryptic, right? And so I think I wanted to address that. I am diagnosed with PTSD. It is It's not like, oh, I diagnosed myself, or oh, like, and it's not from work. Okay. I have diagnosed by a psychiatrist. I have a diagnosed PTSD from over 20 years of being in a very unhealthy, toxic, narcissistic, abusive relationship, right? That's where my PTSD stems from. And that's a majority of it, right? It could be like my childhood as well and all this other stuff, but that's a focus of it. And the reality of it is that, and see, my eye is starting to twitch, but I feel it's necessary for me to talk about it in this way. And that's a whole nother story, because that's like what's, this is 12 months. November 1st, the 1st of November is going to be 12 months of like fucking hell for me. There were some really, really beautiful spots in the last 12 months, but I'm really looking forward to like something new happening. I mean, there were some really bright spots in the last 12 months, no doubt about it, but it's also very, very difficult for me. Not as difficult as surviving PTSD. So one of the things that I had to deal with, and my children had to deal with as well, and I never underestimate or want to underestimate the trauma that my children went through during those 20 years, right? The depth of what they went through. But I can't speak to that because that's their story. I can only speak to my story, all right? So separated, not divorced yet. I've got the kids. We're okay. We're living in town. We're out of the country. We're out of the county where we were so isolated and so far away from everything. We're in town. And I learn that, oh my gosh, look, I'm itching. I learned that a private investigator was hired by my ex-husband, or my soon-to-be ex-husband, to follow me around. Catch me doing something, right? What that in fact did was made me basically a prisoner of my home, because I knew I was being followed, and that he had hired these private investigator to follow me. And so I would do the same thing every day, very much a routine, take my kid, and we all do it, right? But I wouldn't vary from it, because if I varied from it, he would know and stalk me. And so it was very routine, right? Take my kids to school, go to work, pick my kids up, come home, fix dinner, da 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 da. Like it was very much routine, because that way, anything out of the ordinary would alert him and cause him to go chaotic. That's one thing. But then I found out, and other people found out, I think it was the sheriff that found out first, that he had put tracers on my car, location tracers on my car. And he didn't, because he would show up at places. Like, I remember one time I was going to work and he was at the intersection at the exact same time. And so he didn't just put one sensor on my car, he put 4 or more. We don't know. They found that many so that he would know my location at all times. And this was after we separated, while we were going through the divorce. And then there's more, right? So when I am concerned that someone online might be stalking me, it's real. It's not like, woo, what's up? I have life experiences that indicate my intuition and drive what I perceive and what I know moving forward. Yeah, I have, that was the third one, being swatted. I don't know if people just know what being swatted is, but it's SWAT, like the SWAT team. it happened a lot during Trump administration. I think it stopped a little bit in Biden, but it happened still. So swatting is basically when an anonymous person calls in a legitimate, it's not legitimate, it's made up threat. So someone calls in a bomb threat at a school, that could be a SWAT. Another type of SWAT is just saying that there's this kind of disruption in this house. There's something going on in this house. And because of that, like, and it has to be extensive, right, for the SWAT to get called in. That's what happens. But it's an anonymous call, or they try to make it anonymous, and they call in the SWAT team to a business or to a school or to a person's house. It's one thing to be like a private citizen. It's another thing to have police sitting at the corners of the block where you live, watching your house, and then getting a phone call that there's some sort of domestic disturbance, and they have to be there and show up with their guns. So if there's a little erratic behavior there, I have PTSD. It is diagnosed. I have these life experiences where I've been swatted. I wanted to share that because I think it's important for people to understand who I am and where I'm coming from. And why, when I say, if you come at me, if you disrespect me, if you talk to me in a tone that is less than reasonable, rational. I don't really like the word respectful. I prefer the word acceptable. If you speak to me in a way that is unacceptable, if you come at me, if your behavior is inappropriate on a public street, it triggers something in me. And I cannot be quiet. I will not be quiet. And I will not be intimidated, and I will not be threatened. And you can't bully me. And the negative comments that I'm getting on, like, at least one of my posts, and I'm sure I'll continue to get, may that come back on you. May your hurtful words just come back on you, bounce off me and back to you. Because you just can't hurt me like that. It's just not possible. Not to say that I don't have a heart, and not to say that it's not broken. Both of those are true. I have a heart, and it's broken. So let's go on. Let's talk to a little bit about what's going on Monday morning in Wyoming. The winds already got something to say. All right, I found this fascinating. Kanye West has officially sold his ranch. Yep, the one he bought back in 2019 with dreams of domes and design revolutions. Turns out the land is going back to the Flittner family, the original owners. So there's a little flip in the Flittner family owning this ranch, like the short amount of time that Kanye West owned it. So $14 million later, yes, folks, $14 million in Wyoming will buy you a ranch. The saga closes. Maybe Wyoming wasn't the blank canvas he thought it would be, or maybe the silence got too loud. Let that one soak in. Meanwhile, the markets are jittery but hopeful. Asian indexes are up, buoyed by cautious optimism around U.S.-China trade talks. We'll see what happens Thursday. I'm so excited. And Wackadoodle Wednesday. Stateside, investors are watching the Fed like hawks, waiting to see if interest rates will hold or hike. It's Monday. It's a Monday of holding breath. Now, again, what indicators are they using? What data are they using to make these economic decisions? Because the last I knew, we didn't have any data. We don't have any accurate data. I mean, I'm sure somebody is going to walk in with some tables and charts, But is that accurate? I don't know, right? We know that people are furloughed. We know that people may not be going back to work as of November 1st. We know that people have been dodged. We know that there's been a fallout, a ripple effect from being dodged. Um, I don't know prices. I mean, all I can tell you is what my gas price is, what my grocery prices is, and I can tell you a social economic indicator here in Wyoming is what we see hauling out on trains. And so our rare earth minerals, that's a big topic in China. That's one I want to stay abreast of because Wyoming has so many rare earth minerals. So yeah, we don't want companies buying, U.S. companies buying China's rare earth minerals. We want U.S. companies buying Wyoming's rare earth minerals. So we'll pay attention to what that looks like. Yeah, and data, right? Where's the data? I mean, I'll look again today because I'm doing workers' justice tomorrow, so I will look again. I know a lot of local news, the NPR, Wyoming Public Radio, Wildfire, we're all, they're all talking about if you're furloughed, here's what to do. I do think I'll visit a food bank this week just to see how they're doing, but food prices, gas prices are good. So what's the economy like? And I went to a function last night just to get a feel of anybody there. And yes, everybody there knows somebody who's been furloughed or lost a job or doaged. And the familiar story, the sad story is like this couple thought they were going to go to work for the national parks. They thought it was going to be a permanent position. They bought a house in the very small town in Wyoming where they thought they were going to work for the U.S. parks. And this is not a position that they made permanent or what, or they thought it was going to be permanent. It wasn't. They bought a house and now they don't have a job. There, for the grace of the creatrix, go on. Okay, not yet. Still there, but just not yet. In Argentina, Javier Milei just scored a major win in the midterms. His party gained ground in Congress, giving him more room to push his economic reforms. The Trump administration's backing him, which adds fuel to the fire, both politically and rhetorically. Argentina's future just got a little more volatile, a little more libertarian. And here in Wyoming, the Wyoming Cowboys crushed the Rams in the border war. Yay, I guess. I went to both schools. Local headlines are quieter, otherwise just the rustle of fall leaves, a few harvest festivals, and the steady hum of a state that knows how to keep moving even when the spotlight fades. So that's Monday, windy, watchful, and wide open. And the last thing, I think, thank you guys for listening to my PTSD story. There's more. There's a lot more. And right. And so then PTSD at work. I've had work experiences. Okay. I've had this experience too, and I'm going to talk about it because it's been several years now since this happened. But I was working for an organization and left. I'm rehireable, right? I actually quit that job. I am rehireable. So I left and then I went to work somewhere else and that didn't work out. And thank goodness again that didn't work out because what came next was really wonderful for me. But I had these two bosses that were not my bosses anymore, did not work for them. And one of the things I've done is public speaking. I've done it for years in multiple different formats through my previous organizations, that kinds of things. I've done Toastmasters, right? So I've done public speaking. So of course, one of my fallbacks then for employment, for not just employment, for income is to do public speaking. And I was asked by an organization that I had previously been familiar, worked with, but not worked with, to come and present on something that I was knowledgeable about, which is grants and grant writing. So I did. I went to this. I was excited, right? I'm going to do public speaking again. I've been invited to this organization's meeting. I'm familiar with a lot of the people there, so that's going to feel comfortable. I'm going to go talk about what I know, which is grants. So I go and I'm there, and all of a sudden the head person of the event says, "We've got a problem." And I'm like, "What's the problem?" And they're like, "Your previous bosses are coming to this event because they want to know what you're going to talk about." Really, folks? I don't work for you anymore. Like, I don't work for you. And you want to show up at one of my presentations to try and intimidate me and threaten me to not speak about what I'm knowledgeable about? What? Luckily, I had a lot of support from the people in that organization because I'd worked with them, and they kind of kept those two people in check. One person who saved me from choking one time when we were in Arizona really came to my defense, and I am forever grateful for that. I think you know who you are. Um, yeah. So then I did my presentation. I answered the questions. I did my thing. I left. I came back home. And immediately I called the director of the organization and said, "Why the hell are your people who work for you stalking me? Why are they coming to, like, why are they even there? They shouldn't be there. They have no reason to be there. They only came so that they could intimidate me. And I didn't work for them anymore." Okay. And I even have a recent stalking experience, which is someone I've met just casually and just have talked to casually, all of a sudden knows exactly where I live without me telling them. So what is the difference between stalking and just like, I want to learn a little bit more about this person to see if it's somebody I want to get to know better, perhaps pursue a more intimate relationship with, and like frickin' stalking someone? That those are all things that drive why I'm cautious on this on this channel, but I'm not afraid, right? I'm cautious, but I'm not afraid. All right. That's Monday. It's Monday morning. It's still October. I'm so thrilled. Like, it's still October. I have to make a decision about November. All right. I'm out. Alexa, choose some music for us.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Alexa, will you play some music for me?
Here's a mix for you on Amazon Music.
Okay, I'll go with this, I guess. Have a good day. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow, Tuesday, I'm going to talk about documentation. Employees' documentation, when it works, when it doesn't, when to do it, when to not bother. All right, I know, believe me. And I have a whole story around that too. Thank you. Peace, love, joy.